Right, and we're off. Okay, so good afternoon and welcome to Marsden Point News Radio on Friday, the 17th of April 2026. And the time is just gone 1:31 in the afternoon. We should have Carl Barkley jumping in quite soon, hopefully. And I'll just continue in the meantime until he finds out. Well, he knows what I'm doing, so we did speak earlier. So hopefully Carl will be joining us in a minute. So I'll just run through why all of a sudden I'm doing this afternoon. Well, after such a morning like this morning has been, in conversations last night, it just came up that, okay, it's time just to do a live update. We've been passing comments back and forward in the discussion group, like crazy, as we always do when it comes to certain subjects and certain topics that come up that need to be, let's everybody jump on there, put in what we all know, and let's expand it on from there. So I did plan on doing this anyway, so it's coming about just now. So. First of all, there's that schedule that I've just put up. Again, I haven't posted it onto the website yet. I just didn't have the time because, things are what they are just now. So it was a matter of have a look at how much has changed and what's happening with the South Island. That started to sort of not quite sort of bother me too much, but it sort of started to make me think that I need to keep a close watch. But first, we probably should go back and have a look at what used to happen there and what's been going on with the records that I've got. So, anyway, going back over what I just posted there. So, yeah, not a lot has changed. And there certainly hasn't been any additions to the vessel list in the South Island. So we still got ending dates at the 24th for Dunedin. And 24th for Dunedin there. So that'll be the last vessel that's actually listed to go down there. Which is, what we got. Like, they got 13 days still to go. And thought, okay, it's going through that sort of quiet period again. Periodically it does happen. So I thought, right, okay, well, it's something that I just keep a watch on. Certainly with another 13 days to go in the month, Port Littleton hasn't got any additional vessels to arrive there. The Chang Hang Hong being the last one on the list, and it still is the last one on the list there. So I thought, okay, 13 days, within 13 days, I would expect to see, a little bit more activity. Again, it's one of those things where I'll just keep a watch and keep taking, adding in any additions to add in. Sorry, that was a bit of a tongue tie for me. One vessel still, let's say, seems to be everywhere, and it shouldn't be, and it is the Ningbo, the CC Ningbo again. If I actually showed you, I've actually revealed to you, or actually wrote down what was actually listed, you just wouldn't believe. It's so confusing. It's supposed to be arriving from sea, according to Port Taronga. They've just got sea, and I checked it out, and it's not. It's actually coming from Japan. They have the vessel going to Wellington. I know it's like what. Marsden Point at Channel Infrastructure, they actually have the vessel, the Ningbo, arriving from Taronga. And go, what? Wait a minute. Then other places, it's just like, okay, well, it can't be everywhere and nowhere and everybody else at the same time and in between. It's just one of those vessels. It happens. And I don't know how they put their lists together. It just, like, if they're all starting to use AI, then I think they're in big trouble, really big trouble. I've just saw it again with the Port Taranaki at New Plymouth. I always check on those guys, and with the last listing that's there, the TP Endurance is the only petroleum vessel there. I found another one, the SW Kyoto or something like that, yeah. So it says it's arriving from Incheon. Now Incheon, we do take in fuels from Incheon and Korea, and I thought, okay, that's a known port. So I thought, I would just go and check, as you do. So I had a look on the marine vessel, and of course I type it in and go, look, find me this vessel. It's actually leaving Singapore and it's going to Noumea. I thought, what? Well, that's not what's listed in Port Taranaki, you know. And so, I'll just, this is Carl ringing me, so I'll actually answer it for him just now, so forgive me for that. I'll just put myself on mute there. So, wee second. Right, sorry about this. Yeah, it was a bit of a mistake there. He thought I was going live on my phone. No, never mind. But anyway, so so getting back to the New Plymouth Airport, Taranaki. Yeah, so with that vessel, I've just left it blank just now until I can get confirmation that this is so. So it's like one of those things. And again, as I was talking about this morning with that other tanker, the Kong, whatever its name is, the Kang Hua Wan. Again, a misread vessel. It happens all the time. Other tankers just recently were the Chem Cobalt, as if that name doesn't tell you something. Chem, it's a chemical carrier. It's the wrong size, wrong vessel type. You don't put petrol in a vessel like that, or diesel. These tankers are constructed to carry specific goods and at a specific weight and volume. That's really important, is deadweight ton and volume as well. It wouldn't be economically viable to actually put a commercial product like petrol and diesel and jet fuel in such a small vessel for tonnage, as it's sailed by tonnage. You wouldn't make any money. It just costs you too much. So that's why I can always spot like this, what's going on is identify the vessel first of all, look at the vessel size and its deadweight ton. Okay, that doesn't help. Unless it's sailing between Tauranga and Wellington, yeah, that's necessary. But on the LR1Ms, they're called Handymax. That's the vessels we would normally see. Those vessels, yeah, it's profitable to put fuels like diesel and petrol and jet fuel in there. There's enough tonnage in there, you will actually make some money. And that's really important. Smaller vessels know the tanker type structure and also the cargo holdings are specifically designed for different materials. So, it's like that. Once you get to know things and learn about tankers, you can spot something that's not right straight away. And this again is where I think the the systems, the AIs that they're using and these AI generated graph meter chart things, and I've seen it. They're great. Yeah, they're great. But trouble is, I've seen the jet fuel arriving in New Plymouth. That New Plymouth doesn't store jet fuel. The airport's not big enough. It's a runway, for goodness sake. They don't store avgas there. It's brought in. Carl let me know this. Carl let me know that it's actually brought in on a truck and trailer, and the trailer's left there. The airport's too small. Jet fuel. I do have all the stories around New Zealand from Mimby. Jet fuel is not stored. Well, it wasn't back in 2019, and it certainly has not been upgraded since then. So yeah, there are errors that are out there that, unfortunately, I think the PM, Mr. Lux and Mrs. Willis are actually taken at face value. And as I say in my little writing this morning, I'm not out here to knock the government. Certainly not. I'd rather help them clear it up. That I think what you've been fed has been misreported, and it's not through the publisher's fault. If they're using the AI tools, AI is not using the correct logic, then I see it might start be giving you information that it's not deliberately false. It's just one of those things. So that's something I needed to clear up. It's the when I saw the reporting, when I first got one of these websites, a couple of weeks ago, that's when I started to have a really good look at what they were reporting. I was seeing aircraft bringing in jet fuel. You got to be joking me. you know, but the tonnage and the weight, you never get that aircraft off the ground with the amount of fuel it says it was bringing in. Then again, it was landing, or something was arriving at Port Taranaki. It was just like, this is making no sense. Again, misidentification of vessels. You know, these are asphalt carriers. Like the Ken Cobalt is discharging acid at, where was the last one? It's going down south just now. It was down at Littleton. It's actually carrying acid. And Carl gave me a great insight with this, that these, Carl will let you know in a minute about this, about these vessels, the chemicals that they bring in are actually used in the dairy industry for cleaning out stainless steel vats and tanks. It's necessary to bring in caustic soda and nitric acid. So anyway, with all that said, before I get through in those charts, I'm going to get Carl to come in. And where is he? Have I lost my mouse? No, there it is. Right, so get that off there. And Carl, feel free just to come in now and so if you've been listening, I just gave folk an update on what's coming in just now, and what's happening down south. It is going a bit quiet, but it's nothing that, you know, we haven't seen before. And I'll just bring up my other page there. Right. Okay, the video is paused. Great. Wait a minute. Share screen. Have I got the wrong screen? Screen to field charge matching point. Share that one. Yep, got it. Right. Okay. Right, Carl, you're on, mate. Yeah. How are you doing, mate?
I was trying to get the camera to come up, but it doesn't want to play for some reason. You probably don't want to see my ugly face anyhow. Yeah, what's happening?
No, I didn't see that.
Overnight we had a little bit of a fire in Geelong, Melbourne, Australia, taking out Australia's biggest oil refinery. Well done, great. What situation does it put New Zealand in now? That refinery was making 10% of Australians' fuel, so a big problem, New Zealand, because they've been now looking for finished product. So the small amount of tankers that were coming to New Zealand could even get smaller in the days and weeks as we carry on this situation.
Yeah, it also, from what I hear from ABC News a couple of times yesterday, it did also supply 50% of Victoria's fuel. And that's a major blow for Victoria, you know. So it was 10% for the whole country, but for Victoria itself, it's 50%. You know, so that's going to... And I thought, well, okay, so now we've got major competition coming out from Australia. You know, I thought...
So how many million people live in Victoria compared to the 5 million that live in New Zealand?
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
That would give you an indication of how many fuel tankers they need just for that supply without the other 10% of Australia.
They will only have the Ampol refinery at Brisbane now to keep them going, you know, for local stuff. And it's going to take...
The tiny little old refinery built in the 1950s.
Right, say that again.
The refinery at Ampol was built in the 1950s, and it was only 96,000 barrels a day. This one that's blown up was 120,000 barrels a day. We were 135,000 barrels a day. We were the better refinery of the three of them, and our government chose to close it down.
Yeah. And this is, you know, we still keep coming back to, you know, this should never have happened. And what is anyone going to do about bringing this refinery back together again? Because as far as I can tell, with Alan is on the channel as well. You know, it's not in that much of disrepair. Well, it's not in that much disrepair at all. It's just been mothballed. You know, how much would it take to put that refinery back together? And surely, right now, would be where you would expect some members of Parliament to start saying, "Look, we need to move now. We haven't got the time." And look what's happening. I think that's five refineries that have been blown up, sabotaged, or caught fire. There was a list we put up yesterday that have been taken out, you know, since this oil crisis.
there's 120 politicians in that house. They've had over 2.5 years to do something, and I haven't seen one of them yet stand up and come and talk to us about reinstating this refinery. So good luck on that venture. Luxon told me in April 2022 when it closed down, he'd make it an election issue. I said, no, tell that camera today you're going to make it an issue today, and he never did. So him and David Seymour are dead against reinstating that refinery, and Winston's, all they talk about is making it into an energy precinct, which is what this overseas interest wants to pay $56 million for our refinery, 120 hectares, to make it into a biofuel and sustainable aviation fuel plant, which was going to take up 20 hectares of the refinery. So they're going to destroy the rest of the refinery. 100 hectares are going to be destroyed.
Yeah, and that biodiesel stuff we went through a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I got a whole bunch of documents on there on the sustainable biofuel submissions to Parliament, and they were real eye-openers about what Gull had said, especially Air New Zealand had basically condemned the idea, as did all the locomotive and trucking companies and trains and the bus companies were as well. They threw it back in, and each of them says, no, we can't do this. You will void the warranty on our engines if we put another fuel in there. You know,
the thing is too, all these biofuels and sustainable aviation fuels are only 1% or of what we were producing when we made 89% of our jet fuel. But if they add it to diesel and other fuels, they're only adding 10%, so it's still 90% the real product.
Yeah.
So you're not going clean and green. You're going 10% clean and green.
Yeah. With irreparable damage being done to the engines as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And the conversion cost, that I think it was GoBus, Wellington, their submission, they say, well, we can do a conversion on it, but the conversion is going to cost too much for the value that the bus is worth just now. It's not worth it. You know, the conversion costs are too high. You know, it's to do with the calorific energy in the engine where it will start to burn too hot. And that's where you start to get a lot more heat and a lot more damage. And it says, we can't put this in. This is not viable. You know, for short term, okay, but not for a bus company, mate. We're not doing this. You'll kill their engines.
Yeah.
You know. So the whole thing is pie in the sky. The whole thing is just still pie in the sky, and.
Well, it's all about destroying our petrol and diesel use in this country, and everybody has to be relying on electric vehicles, which can be switched off at any time. If there's no electricity, your vehicle won't work, and at least with petrol and diesel, we can tow a tank to you and fill you up, or a couple of jerry cans and fill you up. If your electric one breaks down, you need a generator that's going to be using petroleum products to run it.
Yeah, I know. But, the things as well, I mean, the big rollout with the charging stations and stuff like that, I mean, I didn't see that happening. $50 million for 2,000 charging stations across New Zealand. They're trying to sell the refinery assets for $56 million. You're better off investing back in the refinery at this stage. Other problem there is the generation. You know, is the power generation. I mean, where do we see power plants going up to provide all the extra, current needed for generating stations? Especially if you've got everyone's got them at home now, and the strain on the grid would be so immense. Like I wouldn't see the grid be able to take that much load.
In Canterbury, a year or so ago, there was a guy running around, and his whole job was to service these diesel generators at all the major substations in Christchurch, because they just couldn't handle it. Peak power, they had all these huge big diesel generators that kept wanting to come in to sustain the power, and he had to be around making sure they were fueled up, radiators were full of water, and oil levels were correct, and every now and again he'd have to change oil filters and diesel filters. So Instead of it being a temporary thing that you started once a week to test it, it was like every night on peak load. They were coming in.
Wow.
So I don't know. I don't know if I rectified that.
It's a little ironic, isn't it, when you're when you're running a diesel generator, because
And then you got the network out there, the guys that are climbing up the pole to fix whatever's going wrong in the middle of the night in a storm. They're all driving diesel vehicles, diesel trucks or diesel utes. So if we got no fuel because we don't have an oil refinery, how the hell are you going to service your electrical system?
Well, that's another rabbit hole. Sorry?
And then we got the Navy and Air Force and the Army. Hello, can we borrow some of your fuel because we just can't quite get down the road today?
Yeah. It's coming. It's on its head right now. But hey, Carl, I was just trying to explain to the two ladies that are in here. You know a lot more about inside the industry when it comes to like vessels like the Chem Cobalt. It's an acid carrier, and other ones that come on are nitric acid carriers, caustic and stuff like that. Can you maybe just help others that may be listening later on how these products actually are needed and how they work in the dairy and industry?
I used to work as an engineer at Western Dairy in Hokitika, and I've been around dairy industry for a long time as an engineer on farms, milking machines and stuff like that. We've got several cleaners. There's acid-based ones and caustic ones, and there's nitric acid, which is very good for cleaning up stainless steel. So the dairy industry uses huge volumes of this, and there's a big tank down at Bluff I discovered there a number of years ago with Edendale growing in size. There's a massive big tank down here, probably 25,000 litres. 25,000 litres, that doesn't sound like much. Probably more than that, probably 100,000 litres. It's painted blue. I wonder why it's painted blue for. But it's painted blue, so it sticks out. You'll see it out in the island port at Bluff. That is, I think that's full of caustic, or no, probably not nitric acid. Sorry. And they'll be around other places like Timaru will have one as well because they've got Clandy there, and there's probably one at Littleton because of the Darfield factory and stuff going over the west coast for Western Dairy. So, and then there's lots of other products. There's molasses that's coming in tankers. There's sulphur coming in other tankers. Bitumen, as you've mentioned before. And then there's ones coming to pick up methanol. There's the odd crude oil tanker coming to pick up fuel at Rara. There's one there at the moment. Well, I'm not sure what it's up to, but it was indicating it was a so when they say that. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. I just jump in before you change. Have you seen the vessel that's coming into the FPSO over Aurora just now? Is it actually turned up yet?
Oh, hang on. What? I'll go on to my marine tracker thing. I'm using marine traffic now. So, what's the name of the vessel?
Oh, I just need to go back and have a look. Where are we? I've got one other screen here, and hopefully this won't crash out. No, it's not crashed out. Right.
Not the Vega, is it?
No. That's the internet. That's the internet.
I see there's a lot of people in the industry wanting a third ferry back in service, and we really need that one back in service because it's the only one that can cart railway wagons across Cook Strait. And I did a little summary on it this morning that the train that's coming up from Invercargill with 2,500 tonne behind it, 2 locomotives heading to Picton. It's got either Alliance Meats, which is now heading in the hands of Irish company. So we've got Alliance Meats, TY Point, and the Edendale dairy factories. If all their products have been loaded onto that train, 2,400 to 2,500 tonne of freight heading to Christchurch, heading to Picton, equivalent to 35 truck and trailer loads. They get to Picton. What do then? They normally roll it onto the ship and take it across the Cook Strait. Now, all those containers, and if it's aluminium, it's going to, in bars or rolls, it's going to have to be lifted off individually. I don't know how they're going to do that. Those containers are going to be put on a road transporter and rolled into a roll-on, roll-off, either Inter-Island or Blue Bridge, and then do they put it back on the railway line at the other side, or do they just carry on with the truck through to Auckland or Tauranga or wherever it's going to be exported? Winston Peters is not doing Kiwi Rail any favours by getting rid of the Inter-Island at the moment, which is now called Vega. Anybody living at Nelson, go out and keep an eye on that vessel. You'll see it. It sticks out like dogs' proverbials. It still looks like an Inter-Islander. It's just got a new name called Vega, V-E-G-A. Look it up on the Marine Tracker. So what's the one I'm looking for now?
It's the Southern Leader. I've got a picture of it up here. Well, I've got an entry from Port Taranaki, and it's going to berth at the FPSO. It's a floating production storage operation at South Taranaki Light there. And of course, it's coming in empty. It says non-cargo. Well, it's non-cargo. It's empty. It will dock at next to the other vessel, the FPSO, and then it will take on New Zealand light sweet crude, and it will take it back to Brisbane, where the vessel arrived from. So that's what happens regularly in New Zealand. I've reported it many times. And yes, that was the light sweet crude that used to be used at Marsden Point a lot in conjunction with the heavier crude that was brought in for blending. So, yeah, and it was stated in the documents, as you know, says as many times that we had 15% in an emergency. We had 15% production coming out of that one oil field there. Without sort of going completely crazy and having no fuel to process, no oil to process. But now we have oil, but we have nowhere to process it. So that's what's happening. Yeah, and you would think that members of Parliament would actually start to stand up and address this. That why are we still exporting New Zealand light sweet crude oil and not getting this refinery open? Because this is a time where just right now, where we were a couple of weeks ago, we were getting really desperate as to we should have kept the refinery open. Yeah, I told you that. Yeah, it was a bit like that, where that's the very source of 15%. Or that we keep emergency services. That's, you know, they included trucks and police and fire service and the rest of it. You know, the stuff that, you know, when it comes down to it, who do you call? You call Countdown, or you call Pack and Save, then you call the fire engine, and then you call the police. It was enough to keep everyone running, and that's where it should have been. But unfortunately, we don't have that option now. You know, so yes, Carol.
I can't see that one we're in at the moment. Oh, here we go.
No, yeah, I've just got it there. The Southern Leader. Yeah, it's not due in until the 19th.
Aye?
It's due in on the 19th, so we've got a couple of days away.
Oh, that's Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it further out. Nope. We'll play some background music. There's one off Fiji, there's one off New Caledonia, but that's not it. Is it this one? We're up near Papua New Guinea. No. This new site I got.
So,
no, it was the old one I used to have. No.
So I was going to say, we'll getting back to just finish.
Maybe they've turned their transponders off.
Well, it's only coming from Brisbane, so it shouldn't be too far away.
Oh, it's over that way, is it?
Yeah, it's only 4 days out. So I mean, it's probably if it's only just left, you know, if it's only 2 days away, it'll be a 4-day sailing. That's not much.
That's 6 days sailing time. So what's it called? Stein?
No, the Southern Leader.
Okay, Southern Leader. Hang on. Southern Leader. Here we are. Due into New Plymouth on the 19th. So where the hell are you? Come on. It's in ballast, so it's empty.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's coming as a non-cargo, so it will be empty. So let's see. Yeah.
Oh, this new site of mine's pathetic. Right. That's a large vessel. It's 108 million tonnes. 108,000 tonnes. Tracking. See if that shows me where it is.
Okay.
It's in the middle of the Tasman Sea coming across, according to this.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be midpoint just now. Okay, before I finish off, Carl, I was just going to run through a little bit of history here for vessels at the South Island just now, because we're not seeing very much. I think by the end of the month, we should be the 24th or 29th, we should be looking at the number of vessels for Bluff will actually reach 3. However, one of them was the Hafnia Falcon, which was a heavy fuel oil carrier for the TY smelter. And so for petroleum and diesel, we're looking at 2 vessels probably at the end of the month. Again, go back to September 2024, so I'm just grabbing that random year there, having a look at history. Last three ports for the South Island, important numbers there, because this will happen again this month. Okay, with Bluff, Dunedin and Littleton. There's 1, 3 and 2. Bluff down here was 2, Dunedin 5, Littleton 4. I mean, you can go and have a look at these yourself and do some comparisons. I was a bit worried last night. I did speak to a couple of other folk. And, and it was a bit like, okay, I need to sort of reassure myself that what was actually, wasn't quite that. We're going to this year. Okay, we'll go for it. I'm sorry about these charts, seem to have been a hell of a magnifier there. We go back and sort of come up to this year. And go November, December. Well, even okay, taking it from December. The numbers actually climb. Okay? I don't know if this is commercial activity. Let's just, I'm kind of coming up with a term like that, going, okay, maybe it's commercial activity. Maybe it's population growth. No, I don't think that. I think it's more industrial and commercial activity. It's actually driven these up down there. I'm not an economist, and I'm not a statistician and stuff like that, so I'm not even going to commit myself. But yeah, certainly even December, the numbers were actually looking pretty good. And again, look, that moved the chart around. Timaru, Dunedin, Bluff at the other side, at the right-hand side. Okay, 1, 3 and 1. Okay, but we changed that month. Things coming, where are we? And that's the best one. What was that?
I've gone onto the site that I'm using at the moment, and I can't really find any ships out there coming this way. There's nothing on near Japan or Korea that's coming our way.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my final nail in the coffin, but I'll just finish off with that. Okay, so last month we had 2, 4 and 5. Okay, so over the past year and a bit, they've actually started to pick up the use of fuel down Bluff, Dunedin and Littleton, as Timaru as well. Well, let's not forget about Timaru. But yeah, so there has been a slight uptick on the use of fuels. All I can say again now is just industrial commercial activity. not necessarily population. Maybe we've just got too much money to spend, and I think that was probably the opposite thing of what that sentence just framed for me. But yeah, so it's basically what is going to happen. I'll go back here and find my index, please. What is going to happen with the looking forward? So this is from this morning. I always put these up first thing in the morning. So we got spaces, right? But again, spaces have been seen before. Lots of spaces, and they're all right here. Right, right. Okay, there are spaces. That's over a 3-month period taken in January of 2024. They can show you the number of days that can go between fuel shipments, and there can be quite a considerable amount when you look at it. You know, there's periods where the days can really stagger out. So it's not anything I haven't seen before, especially, this is the South Island at the top of the page, so that's actually quite good. That's Dunedin, Bluff, Timaru and Littleton, the four main ports for the South Island. So that can show you quite a considerable amount of days, you know, that they can go through. So it kind of can look a little bit daunting and a little bit scary, but it's a bit like where some things I need to reassure myself and go, you need to look at this again, you know, and remind yourself of where you've been through this. It's been 3.5 years I've been doing this. And sometimes you can get a bit lax, and I think, yeah, sort of falling in my own self-security, you know. But again, it's what's happening still in the Middle East and what's happening with the fuel companies, the oil companies. Again, is that going to drive our prices up even further? Although it was brought up already this morning that some fuel prices are actually dropping. Again, it's going to comes back down to, okay, so how much are they going to be paying now with crude sitting at, just call it 100, just to keep things normal. How much more is the shipping going to cost? Because that's a problem as well, because fuel costs for the bunker fuel, for the HFO, that's a heavy fuel oil, and a heavy fuel sulfur oil that they're paying for now. They buy it by the ton. That fuel has climbed, you know, drastically. And that was on with Saul McCogliano from What's Up with Shipping over on YouTube. A great channel if you want to keep up with shipping. Also, the emails I get every day from G Captain. Awesome website. Awesome, great stuff. And also Sea Trade Maritime. That's where you come into Sea Trade stuff. And that, again, another awesome website. What tankers have been bought here, what have been scrapped, what the news on, like, say, the Hafnia group. We've seen the Hafnia the Falcon, the Hafnia Cheetah, this, that and the other. What's happening with the companies here, who's buying up who. How many bulk carriers have just been ordered and crude oil tankers have just been ordered this year coming out of China is incredible. You know, there's only another 80 odd tankers have been ordered. You know, VLCCs, that's very large crude carriers, and they cost around $160 million upwards each. And if you're talking about, yep.
You've got the Chang Hong 2 coming into Littleton on the 20th.
Yeah,
which is Monday.
That's asphalt.
Okay, it's not even what we
want.
That
was one of it. That was the one I was talking about this morning. Yeah. Oh, the Changhang Tong 2. That's it. Yeah, I've already got that listed. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I thought you. There's too many Changhang Chongs and Hong Kong Wongs that are getting me self mixed up. Go back to my forecast there.
So where's it?
Pardon?
Where did it get its fuel from?
It's coming from Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming from Singapore. Yeah, you had that listed up, a few days ago. I put my phone in the drawer. Just ignore that. Okay, I'll put myself in mute. Hang on, I'll put myself in mute. Right, it's okay. Right. So, No, oh, I've forgotten what was going on about. Never mind. But yeah, what's going to happen further? Again, I'm not quite sure. So it's going to be
That
a bit
golden,
like
that golden creation that's coming into Tauranga, that's only a 16,000 ton vessel, so that's not carting fuel.
no, yeah, and the Golden Creations, another product that's got on board. I've seen it before. Now the Golden Creations,
It's come from Phoenix. It might be Tasman fuel coming into Tauranga. I think he's got. There's a lot. We need to get Alison to tell us what they got.
No, it's carrying
Tauranga.
It's vegetable oil. It comes in from Australia. It's a regular. It comes from. Can't remember the port, but it's carrying vegetable oil. I was nearly going to say cooking oil, but yeah, it's actually it's a vegetable oil carrier. It comes in about every 6 weeks.
It's coming from Fiji.
Okay.
So it might be bringing molasses. It might be bringing molasses, but they've got sugarcane, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, it's normally carrying vegetable oil, but we'll see. I mean,
a vegetable oil tanker would carry molasses as well because it's both consumables,
right?
Or human or animal consumption.
We need to have a look.
So that's not even another fuel tanker. Good grief.
No, it's not fuel. Where's it due in? Yeah, look, Carl, if you look at the screen, it's coming on the 18th, the Golden Creation, and it's vegetable oils, and it's coming in from Lutoka.
Yeah.
And then it's going to Napier, so it's bringing in vegetable oils. So yeah, I mean, I know the name, so this is one of those things. you get to know.
M. Messiah sitting at Tauranga at the moment. It's unloading at Tauranga now.
Yeah.
Where's it going after that?
Oh, I never had a look.
All right, I'm going to head away now. I've got to go and paint a fence. All right,
okay.
Catch you later.
Yeah, I better go out and do some shopping. Oh, oh, goodness sake. Right. Okay. Thanks, Carl. Right. Okay. So anyway, that was a bit of an update, and I kind of hope that gives you sort of better scope of what's going around. It's just what's happening still in the Middle East and the uncertainty. It's a little still like that. It's a bit up in the air, and especially with what happened in Australia as well. Will that have an effect on us here? Yeah, I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to say, well, we'll see what happens. But I mean, certainly, I'm not in a position to make any rattle any cages around about this. So we'll leave it. I'll just keep reporting and just keep logging what I see, and I'll try and make more sense of the fuel forecast in the next few days. It is a little bit like, it's like spaghetti. It's like, oh, goodness sake. It gets like this, and you kind of hope it sorts itself out, but there's always one or two that just, like the Diamond Express last month, and this month it seems to be the CC Ningbo. So it's just like, we'll just leave it, list it that it's coming here, it's here, okay, and just log it every day, and see where it is and keep watching it from there, and the list will eventually sort itself out in the end. It's a bit like that. Sometimes it's better just to leave it, just log it, and we'll see what happens next. It's nice to be able to, it's nice to be able, to sort of put a list out there and say, this is what they say is happening, and actually see it happen. But it's frustrating when you get a list that doesn't make any sense, and go, crikey, how wrong can you get on this one? But I'll leave it, or a dispute is arriving from sea and the next place it's going is back to sea, which is not a lie, because I really don't want to tell you what they've got because it won't make any sense. It's a bit like that, you go, crikey. So yeah, better just take it out rather than put it in. It would just cause confusion. I mean, I get confused enough without confusing everyone else, so it's not a good idea. But anywho, as they say, so, oh goodness sake, what time is it? Oh, it's 2:15. Oh, well, gosh, that's been like 3/4 of an hour. Right, so anyway, I will finish this off here and get this video put back in there on the channel, and then you guys can listen to it later or do whatever. So anyway, I'll finish off. So this is Martin Point News Radio on Friday, April the 17th, 2026, and the time is just going 20:16 p.m. in the afternoon. And thank you for watching, if you're watching from somewhere. And you don't need to leave a like and or subscribe. There is no like or subscribe. It's just me. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. But anyway, I'll leave you all to it. So I'll just stop that sharing that screen there. Stop sharing. Yeah, just finish up with me. Yep. Oh yeah, look, there's me. So I will just get rid of that camera there, and we're all done. And we'll catch you later. Okay. Cheers, guys, and thanks a lot. Okay.